Do a little warm up, feet shoulder width, soften those knees a little bit, and let's just take a couple of quiet minutes just to connect with your body. You guys all know how to do this by now. Just a few breaths. If this music is too loud, just raise your hand and I'll lower it a little bit. All right, let's do a little bit of breathing in and breathing out. Feel that rise and fall as we inhale and exhale. A good focus point for today is on the expansion and contraction of all the movements. It's not only the breathing that causes the expansion and contraction, but it's the movement itself that allows you to open and close, rise and fall. And how you achieve that can make a big difference sometimes in how the exercise affects the body. Take a moment to focus on the mind and disconnect from all of your responsibilities and be aware only of what your body is telling you and how you react to the movements. Last one. Good. A little knocking on heaven's gate. And let's not forget the collarbone. Wake up the lung meridian. Come in towards the center of the collarbone. Wake up the kidneys. All right, let's let the body become quiet. Nice deep breath in. Good. Change things up a little bit differently today. We're going to start with some shoulder exercises. I want you to just pull the shoulders back, lift up, come forward and down. And again, get the whole body moving with the shoulders. So when we pull back and up, we want to lift and straighten the knees a little bit. And then as we come down, flex the knees. All right, let's reverse direction. Okay, one more. All right, bring one hand up to the opposite shoulder and just gently make a couple of big circles with that arm. Remember to turn the body with the arm. Take some of the stress off the shoulder. All right, let's reverse direction. Okay, one more. Okay, now same thing on the other side. And reverse. Last one. All right, now bring all your awareness to the cervical vertebrae. We'll warm up the neck. When you're ready, just lower the chin. And then pick the chin up, look towards the sky. Long, slow, deep breathing. All right, bring the chin back into the center position. And let's just turn the chin one way, hold it briefly, and release and turn the other way. Focus on a nice tall spine. You want to almost visualize the spine all the way from the sacrum, all the way up to the shoulders, to the base of the skull. How nice and aligned it is. Okay, one last time. Back to the center, and then a little head tilt. All right, back to the center, and now let's get the rest of the spine going. Starting with our big breath, and then follow the hands down. Keep the knees soft, stretch the back out, however way feels good, and then slowly come back. A little arch, and then stand tall. Good, all right, shake that out. All right, we're gonna move into our water element. Again, just a couple of quick things about that to remind you. Water element is all about kidneys and bladder. We wanna think about that color blue. We wanna think a little bit about the negative emotion being fear, but what does that mean? Does it mean we're running around afraid all the time? Not necessarily, right? Sometimes it's just that sense of being very anxious about what you don't know is coming, or how you don't know you may want to handle something. So they say, the old text says that if you're living in the future, that's why you're very anxious and you can be very fearful. So we want to draw that in and think about being in the present. So focus on, during these exercises, focus on those organ systems and focus on what your body's telling you, okay? Don't think about what's going to happen after class or after lunch or after dinner tonight. Think about what's going on right here, right now, okay? Here you go. First exercise is the water wheel. Starting with an inhale, the hands come in and up, over the crown of the head, out and down. All right, I'm going to turn so you can see the profile. Slightly straightening the knees, letting the spine grow, and then relaxing, flexing the knees. Still keeping the spine straight. Just feeling that energy coming up from the ground through that main channel and back down. And we're not going to count today. We're just going to play with this until we're ready to move on. Okay, one more. All right, let's do a clearing. All right, now bring the arms up so we can embrace the tree. This is where we do our filter cleanse, a little fancy footwork, and then we stretch the body. So shifting to the window, pivoting to the wall, extending the arms, turning the palms outward, settle into that back leg as you look over the shoulder, and then release back to the front. Take a breath. Same thing on the other side. Feel that stretch from the fingertips to the heel. And back. Okay, one more each side. Okay, back to the center, then do your clearing. All right, adjust your feet if you need to, bring them back to shoulder width, and we're going to do the fountain. So the palms come back, knees and hips bend, pull the hands up, stretch, and relax. A lot of expanding and contracting happening here. Okay, here's another side view. Okay, let's do one more. And do your clearing. All right, now bring your feet out shoulder width or beyond shoulder width. Actually, we're into horse stance. Grab just above your knees and hold on real tight. This is horse stance with a twist. I'm going to release the window side arm, keep the other arm straight. Bring the chest towards that knee and turn the eyes behind you. And then release, come back up. Same thing on the other side. Nice big breath in as we come back to center. Figure that's your expansion. And then contract as we come down and exhale. One more on each side. Come back to the center, walk your way back in, do your clearing. All right, let's just do one more and we'll turn the big wheel. So we want to face the wall and be in bow stance, one leg forward, one leg back, and push down and shift forward, pull up, shift back, exhale, inhale. Again, visualizing those meridians full of that blue energy, and it's just cycling through. Last one on this side. Let the arms float. We're going to turn 180 degrees to the window. And same thing. Okay, one more. Come back into the center and do your clearing. Good, okay. Shake that out a little bit. Beautiful. Okay, so how many people here think they remember silk reeling? Okay, we're about halfway. All right, we're going to give it a try anyway. I'm going to turn around so my back is to you. That way my right and left will be the same as yours. And remember, with silk reeling, we start with cloud hands, all right? And we switch from cloud hands to parting the wild horse's mane. And then we're going to turn 180 degrees, part the wild horse's mane again. And then we'll try the brush knee doing the same thing. All right, so we'll play with it a little bit. If you don't get it right, that's okay. Just try to follow along. Starting with our opening. Nice tall spine, hands on the lower dantian. And let's release the hands, sink the weight to the right side. Step out. Let the arms float up as high as the shoulders. Pull the hands in. Settle back down. Now we're going to focus on the right hand as we start cloud hands. Shifting the weight, turning the torso, bringing that right hand all the way around up to eye level, and then we shift back to the other side. And then switch the hands. Cloud hands is a very important Tai Chi form. It's one of those forms where the entire body is moving all at once. It's not just about the arms, it's about the weight shift, the torso turn, feeling the knees flex, the spine, settling your breathing. And every Tai Chi move should be like this. It's just with cloud hands, these separate things are easier to identify. make this the last one. And I'm going to pivot my right foot in. Bring my hands so they're holding the ball, and I'm going to reposition my left foot so I'm in bow stance, and then part the wild horse's mane. Go back to your starting point, holding the ball with the right hand high, then shift the weight forward, turn the hips square. Long, slow, deep breathing, spine nice and tall. And if you focus on your feet, you can actually feel that figure eight happening. Front foot to back foot to front foot. Circling around the outside. All right, we're going to make this the last one, and then we're going to turn 180 degrees. So just let the arms float. Pick up that front foot and pivot. Form your ball on the left side, left hand high. Shift the weight to the left leg. Reposition the right foot. And again, part the wild horse's mane. Now I'm going to move a little bit so you guys can still see my feet. So we can do the next form, which is the brush knee. Okay, this will be the last one. Now bring that right hand up, the left hand down. We're going to hold it on the center of the body as we pivot to the other side. And as we shift the weight to the right leg, we turn that ball over. Now as we reposition the left foot, we start our brush knee movement. Top hand goes down, bottom hand comes back up, and we reset. This is a practice I do a lot in my own personal practice. It helps me find that feeling of being present. There's enough things going on that I really have to focus on what I'm doing rather than that last phone call I made to Uncle Ralph or that terrible batch of brownies I tried to make and I had to throw out. None of that stuff is important. What's important is right here, right now, listening to what our body tells us, how we're breathing, how we're moving. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, top hand goes down, bottom hand comes up. We're going to hold the ball, pivot to the other side. As we shift the weight to the left leg, the ball turns over. As we push down, the right foot repositions, and we're brush kneeing again. Think about how much the torso is turning, the hips and shoulders and the eyes, all turning at the same time to the same degree. It's very important to help maintain balance to do that. All right, let's do one more and then we're going to turn back to center so that we can do cloud hands one more time. So top hand down, bottom hand floats up. As I turn back to the center, that right hand comes to the left shoulder. Left hand comes to the right shoulder. We embrace the tiger. Open the arms. Now I'm going to focus on my left hand. That's going to start my cloud hands with the big circle. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Again, feeling that rise and fall, letting the knees flex. More importantly, feeling the arch of the foot flatten and curve as the weight shifts. As I come over to the left side, the right arch starts to curve again. The left arch flattens out. It's like a little spring, up and down. We'll make this the last one. Okay, embrace the tiger one more time. Lower the arms as you shift the weight to the right side. Step in. Do your closing, placing the hands on the lower dantian. Take a deep breath and just find out what feels good right now. How calm is the mind? How present are we right now? Give that a little shake. All right. How'd we do? You probably remembered more than you thought you were going to remember, right? Okay. All right. This is a really fun practice. I like it actually a lot more than doing Tai Chi, but it is Tai Chi at the same time, but they call it silk reeling. You have to maintain that speed. If you think about the old masters unwinding the silk thread from the cocoon, once you started, you had to keep the same speed and the same amount of tension. If you went too fast, the thread would break, and if you went too slow, it would get all jumbled up and tangled. So you have to maintain that constant speed, which can be very hard to do because we have a tendency to, next thing you know, you're doing cloud hands like this fast, even though you started this fast. Okay, so it's complex, but it's still very fun to do, I think. So try to play with that a little bit. All right, we're going to jump into our Clearstream 12. Again, we're not going to count so much. I'm going to try to be quiet and let you guys focus on being present and what's going on inside, okay? Here we go. Feet shoulder width, tall spine, relax the shoulders. First exercise, reaching up and out. We interlace the fingers. Inhale as we lift. Rotate the palms to the sky and press. Release as you exhale and slowly come down. Expansion and contraction. Okay, last one. As the hands come down, turn the palms forward. We're going to do a little flow motion. Hands come up as we inhale. Shoulder level, we turn them over, let them float back down. Now, if you can, try to rise up on the ball of the foot as the hands come up. And then slowly float back down, pick the toes off the floor. And repeat. Okay, last one. All right, let's grab our ball by the heart. This is separating earth and sky with a twist. Window hand up, the other hand down, turning, stretching, and then back to the center. Remember, when the hands come in, we flex the knees a little bit. When the hands go up and down, we stretch. Last one. Okay, side to side, arm is optional. And just settle into that stretch for a breath. Last one. Okay, front to back bend. Again, interlacing, opening at the heart, arching the back. Fist and elbows together as we bend forward. Okay, last one. Stand nice and tall. Okay, bring the feet together. We're going to draw the bow. And hands are on the lower dantian. Release the hands. We're going to step out with the wall side leg. Make your fists as you bring up the arms and then turn. Draw the bow. Open the palms facing down. Come back into the center. And settle. Good. Remember, you want to keep this movement consistent. Don't swing around real fast. That should be as slow as everything else. Okay, let's make that the last one. Good. All right, bring your feet back out to shoulder width. We'll do a little bear swimming. Last one. All right, now hands low. We're going to make a fist. This is where we draw the elbows back on the inhale and then open the palms, exhale, come forward. But what I'd like you to try to do is as you pull the elbows back, rise up again on the ball of the foot and then drop down. Okay, side view. Inhale, exhale. Okay, let's do one more. All right, hands down by the lower dantian. We're going to gather and release. And for the water element, this is when we want to gather up that fear and just let it go. Stay in the present, and you can work your way through anything. But if you put a wall up first, it's going to be very hard to knock that wall down and move forward. Okay, last one. All right, calming the monkey. Make your lion's mouth. Okay, we'll make this the last one. All right, let's do a little closing. Pause for a moment and just discover how you feel this morning. Are you staying with what we're doing? Are you listening to what your body's saying? And if so, have you discovered what feels good right now? And what still needs to feel better? When you're ready, give that a little bit of a shake, a little tapping on the sternum. All right, shake that all out. I want to take just a couple of minutes and I want to share one thing with you guys. One of these anxiety stoppers that I discovered by accident several years ago. And it's just some pressure points we're going to play with, but they're all focused on the pericardium meridian. Now, years ago, I discovered this because it was something that I was told would help with my AFib. When I feel the AFib starting, I play around with the pericardium meridian, which goes from the tip of the middle finger up the inside of the arm into the heart. And I noticed a couple of things when I do this. It sometimes helps with the AFib, but what was more important, it was keeping me focused and calm instead of worrying about, oh my gosh, if the AFib kicks off, then what's going to happen? And where am I now? And I have to drive home, and all these things that fill your head. So again, it's that water element thing of fear coming in, right? And it kind of builds a little wall that wouldn't let me get by it. Now I can kind of get by it. And if the AFib does ignite and take off, well, it usually doesn't last too long. It kind of calms down. So we're going to start with the very tip of the middle finger and find a comfortable way that you can just squeeze the tip of that. Now, typically what I've found is I just pulse it for about 15 times, just that one point, okay? And just a slow, simple pulsing. You can do more than 15, you can do less than 15, whatever works for you. But I'm just basically pressing down on that fingernail and squeezing the pad underneath. Once I do 15 on this side, then I go over to the other side, do another 15, all right? Because remember, all our meridians run in pairs. So just 15 times. Now, what's important here is that you're breathing long, slow, and deep, okay? You're not letting the brain go out and focus on other things. You're just focusing on how you're breathing and pressing those points. The next point you want to go to is the Lao Gong point, which is right in the palm of the hand. So if you take the fingers and roll them down, that middle finger goes right to where the Lao Gong point is. And you can, again, pulse that. I usually use my thumb and just squeeze that. Now you can do this when you're watching TV. You can do it when you're laying in bed. That's usually when I'm doing it most of the time. That's when my AFib seems to catch up, is more at nighttime than during the day. So I'll just do that, my 15 times or whatever works good for you, and then go to the other side. And what I started to notice when I was doing this was by the time I got to the Lao Gong point, I was feeling a lot calmer what was going on, right? I was starting to accept the fact, hey, this is my life. I may start to get AFib, I may not. But at least I'm not climbing the walls over it, okay? It's all about how we can adapt and react to situations, all right? If you can remain calm through the situation, you're going to get through it a lot faster, a lot cleaner. And then finally, the last point is 3 fingers up from where the palm of the hand meets the wrist, all right? 3 fingers up right in the center. And you just want to squeeze that. This is called the inner gate. Right across from it is the outer gate. But right now we're just working on the inner gate. And again, just pulse it 15 times. And then when you're done with that side, go to the other side. Now I got a watch band on, so that's not real convenient to get to. Now, if you don't like the pulsing, you can do little circles. If you don't like doing the little circles, you can start out with a very gentle touch, and then after about a minute, press a little harder to a medium, and then another minute, press a little harder to affirm, and then slowly release back to a very light. So, acupressure is a lot of different ways to manipulate it. You don't want to jam it on right away. You want to just kind of like either pulse it or circle it, massage it, and just play with that. And then when you're all done, do an assessment on your body. Find out how you feel, all right? If something was really getting to you and starting to make you feel unwound, how do you feel now? If you need a little more, keep doing it, all right? It doesn't hurt. You can't really overdo it. But you can underdo it by not doing it enough. And a lot of times I do this when I'm not having a problem at all, because it helps me focus, it helps me align, and it brings me back to the present. And that's the big deal. Can't live in the past, that's going to make you depressed. Can't live in the future, it's going to make you very anxious, right? So if we stay right here, we can manage things as they come to us rather than us chasing them, okay?